Tony, you've just been announced as Director of Football here at AFC Greenwich Borough. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For anybody who may be unfamiliar with you, could you just summarise your career so far for me in 1 minute?
As a player, started at a local club called Sammy Montague, based in Kidbrooke, and then went on to play for pro clubs, and then dropped into non-league, played some non-league, broke my leg playing in the FA Cup, and then started doing my coaching badges, and then sort of just went in as a coach and then as a manager, and then had 13 years straight as a manager, and then decided to turn my contract down and take a break from it, and then I ended up here.
How did you know management was right for you at that time when you started to get your badges and find your way into management?
I didn't, for money. So I had no ambitions to be a manager. It was just the club I was at the time. There was a bit of unrest. Wage bill got cut, the manager left, the chairman said, can I look after the team until they find a manager, and then we just started winning. And then we ended up winning the cup, the Kent Cup, and for the first time in our history, and then sort of just went from there. We've just done really well, and then he wanted me to stay, and then we done well again, and then the clubs were coming in for me. It just sort of just bounced, and I've never, touch wood, never been sacked as a non-league manager, so I've just bounced from club to club and had a few offers, and then just chose which one was the right one for me, and then been pretty successful and won 3 promotions, a cup, 2 Ishmael leagues, 2 manager of the years, and loads of manager of the month. So I think I've been quite fortunate. So whether I go back in or not I'm still probably not unsure on that really. But when I reflected, I think even if I didn't, then I'm pretty happy with my luck.
And what of those achievements stands out the most to you? Is the one that means the most to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I've won the league on the last game of the season, the Ishmael League North, on the very last game of the season. So that was pretty special. But I think now I've come out, I'd probably say when I won the league the second time in the Ishmael League, I went up to get my award and Manager of the Year award, and they announced that I was the first manager to win both the North and the South in their history. So I think anytime you can do something for the very first time, especially given the good managers and clubs in the Ishmael League, to be the first to do something, I think that was pretty special once I reflected on it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So what brought you here to Greenwich Borough initially when you first came?
Well, I sort of come out of non-league. I knew I kind of maybe lost a little bit of faith in it all, and I knew I needed to take a break. So I took a break, and I just sort of fell out of love with it, maybe, like lost sight of why I was doing it and what I was trying to do. So I just went into, I knew I definitely wanted to take a break. And then my phone went, and it was Gary Fiore on the phone, and Gary was really good. I don't know whether he meant it or not, but he kind of read the room really well. He just said, why aren't you going back in? And I explained to him, and then he was talking about this project. I didn't know about it, and he spoke about GB10, and I said, where was it? And he said, at the bottom of Green Lane. And I said, I've just moved into a new house on Green Lane. So we just started laughing, and then he just basically said, why don't you just come in and just coach some of the youth teams? Like, no pressure, just come in. You can have 5-6 weeks with different age groups, just jot around. And I knew no one would really know me because it's grassroots, right? So it was like I didn't need to come in and needed to be anyone. I could just come in and just coach kids and work with the managers. And so that's what I'd done. I just went in, introduced myself, and then I quite like the fact that I had to sort of earn the right again to like show them I could coach or show them I could offer a little bit of knowledge in that. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I spent the last sort of 6 months of last year going from the 12s to the 13s to the 14s to the 15s and both 16s, and then sort of landed really on, I remember phoning Gaz and saying, out of all the managers and all the teams, I felt a connection with one age group that I just felt that I could add the most value. I thought the manager was really open with me, and he sort of picked up that I kind of might have known what I was talking about. So I asked Gaz, can I stay in with the 14s, the 15s now, but the 14s last year, and working with Jason Uden and Gary Dunn, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. And I think he realised I was emotionally getting connected to them. So, I've spent the rest of the season with them, and I feel like completely changed the way they played. They gave me free licence, and the manager was like, look, Tone, play how you want us to play, and we'll trust you. And I feel like we've really improved a lot of the boys. And there was one boy, Joel, it's something that sticks in my mind. I've had it my whole career where I've always feel that I've helped one or two really go on, and he was one of them where he wasn't getting in the side, wasn't getting picked for the Sunday team, and was on the bench for the JPL team. And I remember Jason Newton speaking to me saying that this boy's got something to him, but we just can't get it out of him. So I just remember pulling him at training and then just saying that I knew his backstory, that he'd come out of Charlton, he'd lost his confidence, he didn't want to play football at one stage, and I kind of been there as well. So I just walked with him and just spoke and just said, look, I'll help you get to where you need to get to, but you're going to have to trust me. Because his attitude at training, it wasn't rude, but it was like unresponsive, and he didn't look interested, and I think it was easy to dismiss him. And I said, I can see what you're doing. You're just trying to protect yourself. And I said, you don't need to protect yourself against me. You know what I mean? Let's just trust me. And then I said, look, I want to change your position. I'd watched him in training. I said, I don't think you're a centre forward. I said, I watched the way your balance goes. You had a lovely, what we call a chop, lovely beat. For a boy who was 6'1", he had lovely balance. So I said, look, I want to put you out on the left of a free, and we'll work on it. So that's what we've done. And it was just unbelievable seeing the development, how quickly he got it. And then, at the end of it, he got offered a 2-year deal at Brighton, but he had Aston Villa, he had Newcastle, everyone wanted him. He'd gone from that boy to playing every minute of every game, Saturday, Sunday, he couldn't get enough. And there's 4 or 5 in that age group that I'd moved their positions around and just given that little bit of belief and seeing their development. And I've always done that, and I've had boys that have gone into the Football League from semi-pro from me who've just trusted me, and then I've helped them. And that, to be fair, that's probably more rewarding than maybe winning leagues in that. And it's in a different sort of way. Like, it's just, I mean, I still speak to Ollie Tanner now, who, you know, he come out of Bromley, didn't really get an opportunity. He went to Folkestone on a 2-month loan, got sent back after 1 month, said he wasn't good enough. 3 months later with me, we sold him for 100 grand to Spurs, and he didn't want to go, but he ended wanting to go to Cardiff, and he's played 45, 50 games, just signed a new 4-year deal. He's flying, like, he's absolutely flying. This is a boy that got told maybe he wasn't quite good enough, and it's just seeing him in them, and them trusting you and you trusting them. And I think Greenwich Borough have got 60 youth teams, so I've got thousands of opportunities to find them players, just me as a coach. And I've also liked developing other coaches as well, if they let me. And I feel like this club's got some fantastic young coaches, and I'm already having conversations. And at the moment, we're firefighting with the first team stuff last minute and planning and this. And my long-term goal is to make sure I get to the coaches as well. Because I've done that. My previous jobs at Cray Wanderers, I didn't have a youth team, and I set it up and set up a really successful youth team. Within 3 years, we'd had 290 appearances from youth team players and won the league as well. And then the 23s managers, Adam Fleming, who's now the number 2 at Whiteleaf in Step 4, and the manager of the under 23s, Dacey, is now the manager of Dulwich Hamlet. I work with these young coaches, and we coach together, and they watch me coach, and I feel like I might have played a small percentage in their development as coaches as well. And so I like developing. I've always liked developing, and I feel in this role I can have a sort of broader scale of developing both boys and girls, because I've spent 3 years at Lewis, and Lewis had a women's team that played in the Championship. So I'd go down there and watch their coaching and watch their games, and so I feel I've got a good understanding of the women's game as well, enough to want to push that as well. So it's just finding the time at the moment, because we've got the late news about getting in the football pyramid. It's all been hands to the pump, and, you know, recruiting, supporting the first team manager, going to do a bit of coaching for them, and, as I say, trying to work out what they need, and then getting on my phone and trying to recruit for them. And as well as I'm still in with the now 15s, and I coach them twice a week and do their stuff, because I believe they've got 14 players that could be potentially playing for this first team. They're that good. So I'm kind of keep pushing them as well. So it's been a bit all hands to the pump, but my long-term strategy is to put things in place where I can get to the coaches, have monthly meetings, do tactical stuff, think about different formation, and then also try to look into the women's side and the girls' side of the club and see where we can add value to that as well.
You've clearly had numerous offers from clubs at higher divisions.
Yeah.
So why was now the right time to accept a director of football position at Greenwich Borough?
I mean, Yeah, no, I've had 5 or 6 offers, and if someone always is good enough to ring me, and I always will sit and listen to him, and it's just sort of evaluating that particular offer and seeing whether that's something that I want, and ultimately, the thing that appeals to me, this is not financial. I've never taken a penny for this role. So this is not about financial, this is about engaging my brain. I need something different. I've done non-league for so long, just going in there, putting a team together, playing good football, winning games. And it was like just engaging my brain to get me excited about something else. And this is just a big project. And in Gary and Brett, they trust me. And it's having value. And I've always been frustrated with non-league clubs because I don't think they... for instance, when I was at Cray and I set the youth team up, we were producing player after player after player into the first team. When we won the league, the boy who got golden boot was come for our youth team at 17. I look in non-league, they're all still coming through. I think most clubs, non-league clubs, have got a ceiling, and you're never going to go above your ceiling because you have a major sponsor or a guy putting money in. The moment he does that, he pulls out, you ain't got much left, or you get to the ceiling and that person can't put more money in. But I strongly believe we won the league at Cray with not the biggest wage, but we had probably top 10. But I could build it out with the best youngsters and develop them. So youngsters just want an opportunity. They don't want big money. So you can balance that out with having first team players, but also the best youngsters coming through and merging them all with good senior players, and you can really build out from there. And I think so many non-league clubs miss a trick with that. They just don't commit to that enough. And I just know the frustrations I've found with all different things from non-league. Every club I've been at, I could tell you a frustration where I don't think they've got it right, and they're not listening to me what I'm trying to tell them. Well, here I can help shape it how I feel it's right. And I have conversations with Gaz and Brett, and I say, look, I think this will be a really good idea if we do that. We've already done some really good work, that's going to help shape this football club. I'd already walked into an amazing infrastructure. This is not me. There was already 60 youth teams there. There was already unbelievable young coaches here. But imagine if we build on that. Because most non-league clubs, their structure's this thin. It's one guy putting money in, or one big sponsor. Our infrastructure is this big. And we're building, I want to keep building it out and make it even bigger and bigger and bigger. So when we've got planning permission in 2 weeks' time, to get planning permission. And if we get that, it's the next phase and what that can bring. It's a fast-moving football club. So
can you tell us about that vision? What's the 5-year vision for Greenwich Borough that you're going to take us on? Yeah,
so the vision is, for me, is that to improve what we've already got. So uplift the coaching, improve the coaching, give them more support, make sure the sessions are even better than what they are now. Listen to the guys here, what their frustrations were, which I did. What is the frustration is because all our teams produce really good players, they constantly losing players to pro clubs. Okay, so how can I address that? So what I've done is I use a contact I've got, high level, in a football league club. Spoke with them about doing an official partnership. So we're quite far down the line with that. We're going to arrange a meeting in the next week or two where senior members of Greenwich Borough will go to the training ground, and they'll meet senior members of that football league club, and we'll put an official partnership in so we can have an element of control and also a beneficial of that all the money they're investing, because every 11-a-side age group in this boys' side have a paid coach. So they're not having just dads doing it, they're having real good coaching, so we're developing these players. And we want to develop them for our first team, but if they're above that, then of course we want them to go on to pro clubs, but we also want to be recognised for the work they're doing, and that's what we're going to put into place. So we feel it's a huge, great partnership for both sides, because this club's going to get first refusal on our amazing, talented players, but we also get a kickback from that in terms of financially looked after, and if the player goes on and plays first team football, even more and more. So I think it's a potential groundbreaking partnership, which is very few grassroots clubs can have, and I think it'll be great for our staff as well. So I think there'll be a crossover with the staffs, We've got some really good ideas. We're also looking at when the players do go into pro clubs, the amount of times you see these grassroots kids that go into pro clubs and mums and dads, they don't know about what's the next behaviours and support network. So we're also talking to another company about supporting our players when they leave here to go pro clubs, offering them that support and that professional advice, and also allowing them to come back in with us if they need confidence or extra sessions, and one of our coaches will deliver it as a one-to-one, so that aftercare to give them the best opportunity to go on and be a pro. So we're putting that in place as well. Really good conversations, quite far down the line with that. So that's the detail that I'm going to try, what I'm trying to bring in the club. So already adding to the really good stuff we've got, but just polishing it even more and making sure we can continue to produce our best players for our first team, support that first team, recruit for that first team when we feel we need it, which I have done. Listen to the managers, be on the other end of the line if they, if Reece or Vito want to give me a call and they're not sure about something or tactically or whatever, just if they needed to go in, like Saturday I'm going in, I'm going to deliver a session. So just be around, and hopefully when everything calms down on the initial rush of the first team, I can sort of step back a little bit from that, and then maybe sort of try to get more into the youth structure and get to know the managers and the coaching and listen to their stuff, their frustrations. If there's anything in there that's frustrating them that I can maybe take away and try to make it better for them and support them a little bit more. So it's just, at the moment, I would say we're firefighting at the moment because we just got, we found out we're in the pyramid and it was a mad rush. We didn't have a first team. We had like 6 weeks to put this first team together, and it's full credit to Reece, Beardo, Gads and everyone. The fact that they've not only put a first team together, they've also top of the league and unbeaten. It is amazing achievement what they're doing, and I know how much hard work's gone in. It was a mad scramble. It was an absolute, and anyone who see our very first pre-season game, you wouldn't have thought that we were going to be top of the league because it wasn't great, but we've constantly, every single day we're getting better. Every single day the first team gets better. Every single day we're looking more of a side. Every single day we're constantly looking to recruit. I still think we're about 2-3 away, which hopefully I've got another one coming in. We're only going to go one way. We will get stronger. As the season goes on, we'll get stronger. We will finish like a train. We're actually way ahead of where we thought we'd be. Literally the first half of the season, we was going to take our medicine and just sort of try to be competitive and give ourselves a chance to have a late run for the playoffs. And we're just constantly assessing it now, saying, okay, it's going really well. We can still play better. We know that. We're not nowhere near the finish article, but we're certainly, I know how much work's going behind it. We are constantly looking to continue to be better, and we will be better.
Can you give us an example that you've seen over the past year that really sums up what this club is about?
I'd say one of the best things I see was when, I won't obviously name names, but I was in with a manager and there was a boy that couldn't afford to pay the subs. And he said, we might have an issue here, Mum's phoned us and said that they just simply don't have the money, and it got filtered back to the club and it just got dealt with so quickly. It doesn't matter. Like the club will support that. And I just thought the fact it wasn't even an issue, it was just, don't worry about it. He can continue to play football. And I think for football shouldn't just be for the kids who can afford it. I think football should be for everyone. But I think across the board, they are, I believe, above a grassroots team. In terms of that, there's very few grassroots teams that the kids are getting the coaching that these kids are getting, and that's why I'm not shocked if you actually look at the top end of our grassroots. Look at the 15s and 16s. Both won the league Saturday, Sunday. 16s were national finalists, 15s were national champions, Kent Cups, London Cups. The higher they get towards the end of their development stage, the better they are, and they're just running over teams and at the top of the league. And now, rather than meet the ceiling, we've now got a hatch door and we go, okay, we'll go into the first team now. And I think I've coached the 16s and I coached the 15s. And I would say, honestly, I think there's about 15, 16 in them two age groups. that will go on and play a really, really good level of football. I mean, I can see it because obviously I've spent a lot of time in non-league football. So I watch these kids and I'm coaching, I'm thinking, it's almost like there's a number above their head thinking, yeah, he could play step 3, he could play step 4. I can see it clear as day. And I can see how quickly they're developing. So I'm more excited. I said it to the players actually, the 15s. I said, you know what I'm most excited about? When you boys get to 16 years old and you can play non-league football. Because I'm going to be bashing the door down to get as many of you in. And there's 25 of them signed over the 2 days. And I would honestly say there's 12 of them that will go on and play crazy levels of football. There's probably 4 or 5 of them that I'll be shocked if they don't play Football League. They're that good. They're that good. And I think the 16s are the same. There's boys in there that are so, so good. So I think the future is extremely bright, extremely bright. And I popped in to watch the 14s training, and they've recruited really well this year, and the coaching, and Neil Harper's doing brilliant with them, and Kingy, they look super strong as well. So, I mean, you've only got to look at the conveyor belt, how it all starts. I mean, you've got Rondos, which is a connection to the club. You know, they start 4 till 7. Age 4 till 7 years old, and I watch their sessions sometimes, and I can't believe I'm watching a 5-year-old what he's doing with the ball, the coaching they're getting, and then when they finish the 7, they come into our under 7s, under 8s, under 9, off they go. So they're already starting off the foundation of like unbelievable technical ability, and they just go on a journey, and that's why all our teams are strong. They just produce so many players, and our biggest problem is pro clubs taking them all, which is fine. But what we're going to put in place now is we have protection over that. So many people phoning me saying, why are you going to the Step 6 club? Like, they couldn't get their heads around it. And once you're in the building, I know what's coming. I remember Maidstone in Step 6. I played against Maidstone in Step 6. And they were once they got their ground, they were a juggernaut that went through. I played against Dartford when they were bottom of Step 4. Ground sharing with Grayson and Northfleet, with 150 people there. When they got their own ground, with their infrastructure, they went through the leagues. I believe this is about to happen here. 100% believe that. With their infrastructure and the planning, we have a great day in 2 weeks' time. The moment that ground starts getting built, I think they'll run through, because the sheer number of quality they've got in the building and then the people here are unbelievable. So for me, it's get on now before this train goes. Because once it goes, it'll be a runaway train. And I've told everyone this. I've told everyone, you look around this ground, this is like a training ground, Football League training ground. It's massive. Unbelievable pitches, gym going upstairs, underfloor heating in the changing rooms. It's coming like a train. So for me, you can be a part of it. I would advise everyone to be a part of it. Pay coaches, high-end coaches, even in the scholarship programs, you've got ex-Football League coaches, ex-Football League players coaching. It's one of them ones where if you blink, if you come away from here for 2 weeks and you come back saying it's moved on, it's a very, very fast-moving football club. So this will be a runaway train. I've got absolutely no doubt. I've done a talk with the first team about 2 months ago, and I sat with them and I said, don't abuse this. Don't think you're at some like a Step 6 club and you can just miss training or whatever, because if you give this opportunity up, you will regret it. We believe in loyalty. You're loyal to us and you commit to us and you develop. You can be here for the next 10 years. You can come on this amazing journey. I actually give them an example of when I played Dartford and they were down the bottom, and they had 2 young wingers who I knew they'd come through the youth system at Thamesmead. And they both stayed. And I switched the TV on 4 years later, and it was on BT Sport, and they were playing Luton, Dartford versus Luton at Luton, a league game, and Luton won, and he got man of the match, and he went to Crystal Palace the next day. Ryan Hayes went on to have a great career, but they were on the train when it was going, and they stayed, and they went through this amazing journey of winning leagues, etc. I honestly believe this club's going to do exactly that. So it's an unbelievable time to get in the door and get first dibs at the shirt. Because you've got the shirt, you can keep the shirt. But if you turn up 3 years later, it might be hard to get the shirt. So I think it's an unbelievable opportunity to be part of something that's going to be big.